What's up, everybody? Tuning in high def here from Nashville, Tennessee. This is the 2Indie music industry talk show. Do a listening session here as well. My name's John Clinebell. I'm a producer and songwriter from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm the co-founder of 2Indie. We are an education company. We love helping indies get the wins. And I am here on broadcasting live to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Please, if you haven't already checked us out, we're at 2indie.com. That's 2indie.com. And while people hop on here, I'm just going to start to get things queued up here a little bit. We've got a lot of songs that have been submitted for listening. We're going to actually start off today's session by listening to songs. So if you're tuning in, please let me know you're here. If you drop a chat in, I do love to pop the comments up on the screen and loved interacting with you. So feel free to let me know you're here. And it's even better if you, especially if you're from Facebook, to let me know who you are. Like just literally type in, hey, it's Brad, or hey, it's Jennifer, or whatever. So, because otherwise I can't see who is actually here or not. Hey, what's up, Jesse Ray? Jesse Ray. Yeah. What's up? Welcome to the stream from Twitch. All right. Awesome. How's your week going? I'm in my new space and I'm about a week into the move. So still got boxes all around me. The studio is still kind of like a total mess. This is a much smaller space than my previous space, but I actually like it a lot. It's going to be fun being in here. You let me know, please, if the audio is okay. Can you hear me all right? Just let me know. Shouldn't be much of a difference. This is a super directional mic. Joan Meyer. Hi, Joan. From Lace Leaf Productions. Awesome. Well, if you're here and if you submitted a track, I will definitely get to your song first. But it's good to have you here. I do see that you submitted a song called Coyote Call. But that was that last week? I think it was last week. But let me know if you want me to spin that. And anyways, hello, everybody. Let me know how you're doing. Just going to wait here a second to let everybody hop in. We've been really busy in 2Indie. We've been doing a lot. Even though it's the holidays, we really have not been ramping down. We have a new partner. Every month we partner with a licensing agency. And this month we're partnering with Katie McIlvain of Dawn Patrol Music, a successful licensing agency. And every month in our licensing Basecamp community, everybody in the community gets an opportunity to submit a song for consideration for Dawn Patrol. For whoever our agency is, they give a brief and then of music that they're looking for. And so we're partnering with her this month. It's very exciting. We're also doing something called a Basecamp Boost where people can get direct mentorship from the agency. So if that sounds interesting to you, all you got to do is hop on 2indie.com and you can find all the information on that. Just killing a minute or two here before diving into the music. Listening, I would love to listen to a ton of songs during this hour and a half. I'm not sure how long I'll go tonight, but I have some energy. I feel good, and I'm very excited to be here. And apologize, last week I could not do the listening session. It was just too much with the move and everything. It's stressful. This move was much more stressful too, for some reason, than the cross country move that I made last year. So that was kind of interesting. Oh, Harmony, you were in Nashville? Crazy. We should have gotten a coffee or something on your way home from Nashville. Okay. And then Mary. Hi, Mary. I see you there. We got Water Boys here too. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. All right. Without further ado, I think I'm just going to start spinning some music. So before I spin anything, I always like to say, hey, it's just my opinion. So, I've had a lot of licenses. I've written a ton of songs and produced quite a bit of stuff as well. And always the feedback is coming from a place of not a prescriptive direction, like you got to do this and then it's going to be ready for prime time or something like that. But it's more, hey, this is what seems to work for licensing. And I think that these are some things that with your song that's going well. And here's some things that, for the future, or with this track, if you're still working on it, you could potentially tweak. And it might be better and it might not, but that's just the truth of all this. Oh, you were just in here for a day. Wow. That's cool. Hey, D. Awesome. Thanks. It's always really helpful to know the actual name of somebody so I can name you by your actual name. And then Harmony was in town for a day and didn't say hi to me. It's okay. I won't take it personally, Harmony. next time. All right. So, as always, when I'm doing listening, I like to prioritize anybody who's live with me on the stream. So, I know that Joan is here. So, why don't we pull up your track, Coyote Call? Looks like this is a mixed songwriter's master. Okay. So, this is going to be an artist release. Cool. All right. Let me pop it open. Now, it might apologize. It might take me a second to get back in the swing of like the audio situation here. It's not like on Zoom where it's like 2 buttons and then it's good. I literally have to click like 4 or 5 places to get the audio to patch through. So bear with me. All right, here we go. So I'm going to share the screen, share the audio. Got that. We'll share that. And then I got to mute myself. Here we go. Boom.
Blind cows to graze on land in the Amazon. Drain the wetlands, fill the soil with concrete, divert the rivers to run backwards, turn the pastures into streets. How do we ever reconcile what we think we need? Forgo the greed, take care of those in need. Take care of the
First off, could anybody hear this? Sounds wobbly. Could you just let me know if you could hear it okay? Sounds wobbly. Oh, awesome. That's awesome. This was written with in Home Studio Boss class by Chris Bradley. And Janica Grayston sings it. Okay, cool. Yeah, and you know, the audio quality with streaming is always going to be a little funky, so I always have to I'm probably hearing it a lot better than you all are in some cases, so just keep that in mind. But so I like this track a lot. There's some elements to this that I feel are really cool. I was wondering if there's kind of like some artifacting that's happening in the background, and I was wondering, it almost sounded intentional, but it also almost sounded not intentional. So I know lo-fi, it's a thing where, you know, having some staticky, crackly kind of stuff in the background is cool. But this, it didn't quite sound crackly enough to me. It almost felt like this was perhaps some type of artifact that, you know, just was not accounted for in the mix. But if it was an intentional artifacting that's happening in the background, I might suggest maybe picking a different sound for that, or just for me, it was like kind of a weird crackly thing. It wasn't really a crackly thing. It was more like, yeah, I don't know. It just, for me, it was like, it almost didn't sound intentional. So that's the only thing that I would say there. I really love the build of this. I think the instrumentation is really cool. It doesn't club you over the head. This isn't the type of song that is going to really go off in any kind of way. In terms of just the arrangement of it, the way that this does, it kind of blooms out. Like it gets bigger, gets a little deeper, and I like it. It's got a very deep environmental kind of take care of the world, take care of each other kind of message, which I appreciate. I think for licensing, so here's my feedback for licensing, is that the times that they're looking for something like, we want to take care of Mother Nature, we want to help each other out, quite often the best kind of songs for those are more general songs, like songs that are not specifically saying, like, hey, we need to help the environment, we need to keep the environment in mind. It's just like sometimes the best like hype songs or the best female empowerment songs are not necessarily, the lyrics don't actually say like things that indicate female empowerment necessarily. It could just be a really cool track that's like just really well sung by a female vocalist. A positive track that's well sung by a female vocalist can be an empowerment track without having any lyrics in it that necessarily relate to the theme of female empowerment. You know what I mean? So it's like with this, it's the themes that I love the themes that are happening here, but I think there's maybe a more universal way of addressing the subject that could make this song also apply to other situations, you know? So that's a thought. Because when we're writing for sync, again, writing for sync is really like, it's not as much a thing anymore because, and I think it's really cool that you're releasing the track, because you really do want to, if you are an artist and you're releasing stuff, this is going to only help your case when it comes to licensing. So I think that the build here is really great. I would, if you did, maybe just bounce it off a couple other people in terms of that artifact, because it was just a little. Because I've heard a lot of lo-fi music in my life, and it just kind of struck me as like, wait, was that intentional or not? And then once the instruments started to kick in, it kind of made a little more sense. But I would maybe do something maybe a little bit more obvious sounding that it's an artifact, like an intentional kind of crackly thing. But that's just my 2 cents. I think this is a cool track. I think you did a nice job with the arrangement. I like the vocal on it and all that stuff. So great way to start things off. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Can you all hear me loud and clear? Am I distorting at all? I'm just trying to get with my new setup here. I'm trying to make sure that I have like the audio is like A-okay. Can you all let me know what the dealio is? Hey, appreciate you, Joe. And my pleasure. Definitely my pleasure, Joan. Cool track. Loud and clear. All right, good. I'm usually pretty loud, but it's the clear that I was mostly worried about there. All right. So Joan, great way to kick things off. Let's see who else has a song in the queue. I'm going to look down the list and see who's here, because I do like to spin stuff from people that are present. I don't see anybody else. Oh, I see D. D, I see you here. Live Without. We're going to play your song next. And Harmony, you're after. And if you want to put a song in, it's not too late. Let me drop the banner in. Here you go. All right, so we're going to move on now to D. This is a song called Live Without. And let me pull it open. Hang on just a second. I'm also going to move my desk up so I can stand up. Give me a second here. Whoa. All right. Oh.
Quarter tank on the dashboard, elbow hanging out the window, in an old loaded down Ford. Wish you didn't have to, but you gotta go. Yeah, you're moving up to Nashville. You're gonna be the next star. Closing down Broadway, doing things your way. They all know who you are. But when you can't think of the words and the 3 chords hard to hurt. Remember what you left behind. Remember what you said to her when you said, "What I can't live without is a summer breeze, girl, and you ain't in it." Bumping down a 2-lane, rock a little T-Pain. Yeah, I love your singing. And what I can't live without is you yelling "Go Dogs" when you walk in. If you add it all up, girl, you're the one thing in this world I can't live without. And what I can't live without is you Go ahead and let her know she's the only. When no three chords start to hurt, just remember what you said to her. Yeah, what a can't.
Hey D, that was really cool. Are you could you hear me? You could hear the song. Good. I think you could hear it. Nobody was complaining, so that's usually a good sign. Welcome, everybody. If you're just tuning in, my name's John Clinebell. I'm an indie producer and songwriter in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm the co-founder of 2Indie with Sonnet Simmons. And we provide music coaching and we talk about music licensing, artist branding, and all that kind of stuff. Bring your questions, bring your songs. I love spinning your stuff and chatting with you. So welcome to the stream. Welcome, Cinder Ernst. Welcome. Cinder Shines here. All right, so D, I want to talk about this track. The track is really dope. I feel like it's a very unique style. You've found a way to blend a couple of styles like lo-fi and country. I never thought it would like there's almost a blend of lo-fi and country here, which I think is really dope. And I love the writing. I think the lyrics are really good. I think it goes back to the comment from the last song. I think there's a way if you took this same style of production and you started to incorporate more specific themes and made them a little simpler, at least in terms of the hooks. I think less wordy in the hooks, more like a specific concept. I know country songwriting, that's a thing. Like it feels like it's written like a country song. But in terms of what's used in film and television, I think there's fortunately more and more opportunity now that Yellowstone and other shows like that are starting to really go off in terms of incorporating music from artists. It's exciting because there's more opportunity now for country, I think, than ever in sync. And hopefully it'll just continue to blow up. And hopefully they're looking for the next cool wrinkle. And this is a very cool wrinkle. I would say production wise, this feels, and I think that's really dope that you're a writer and producer. I think that if this is you singing, I think I like your voice. I think your voice is cool. I do think that the vocal production needs a little tightening up. I think that the song feels to me as if it's like 3/4 of the way done with the production. And it could also have to do with the mix. So for me, there's some vocal stuff that feels like it's missing. And it also feels like there's some ear candy kind of stuff that feels like it's missing in the bigger moments. And it feels like it really, really needs a good mix. So it feels like it's there. It's getting there. But I feel like it's in terms of the production on the vocals, in terms of like getting the vocal to pop the way that it needs to, I feel like there's some work yet to be done there. And that's what I would suggest, is just to get this a really fantastic mix once you get it all dialed in. But I think so far it's really cool. I'm intrigued. I like this song. It's cool. It is country. Yeah. But it's a different kind of country. This isn't the kind of country that everybody, the typical country. I was out on, I can't remember the street, but I was out listening to some folks out by Vanderbilt. There's like a strip of bars and, the whole, like, you get up on the writers rounds and stuff like that. I'm still pretty new to Nashville, but when you get up on the writers rounds, it's all stories like this and very detailed, really great writing. Like, I think the writing on this is phenomenal. So I think just as you keep learning, like what is used in sync, it's usually typically a simpler message. And a little less wordy message, especially when it comes to ads. There's just no time to develop the kind of story. And as well, they're targets that probably not going to want to need this music to tell the story that they're telling on screen. So you have to kind of like shift your mindset a little bit to think, because remember that your role in all this as an independent artist is to help elevate what's happening on the screen. So, but I like the song a lot. Cool song. Glad you're here. And yes, I write down my notes on paper, on actual paper. Very old fashioned like that. All right, let's see who's next. I think Harmony's next. Let's pull you up. That was great, D. Thanks for submitting that. That was refreshing. Harmony, you're up. This song's called Hot Mess. It says it's almost finished. I think I've heard a version of this. So let's see what's happening with it now. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. I'm listening to indie releases and also works in progress, and giving my feedback on them as regards to music licensing. So if you want your music on ads, TV, film, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about here. So let's spin another song. This song is by Harmony Gillette, and it looks like it's in progress here. So let's pull it up. Okay, here we go. Boom. Got it on share, and now let me turn my mic off.
And refined, a devil dressed in angel's robes. Say a prayer, soon you'll be mine. I'm a hot mess, oh my goodness. I got rest that you're gonna ignore. Stuck in your head, pulling your thread. Gonna leave you begging for more. I'm a hot mess.
Yeah, that was cool. I love it. So for me, I feel like this is really close, and I'm glad that you're sharing it again. I know I've heard an earlier version of this. I feel like it's getting really close. I think for me, the first and second choruses, like it starts off with a chorus or like a shortened version of the chorus, which I think is dope. But I think that if you're going to go back to the chorus so soon, it's really got to kind of take a big step up in terms of dynamics, because especially when they're looking for anything for ads, I mean, I would say this is the case for pretty much any TV show too, especially with anything that's got a lot of energy, is that they want to see levels. So if they like level one of your song, they want to, and when I say level one, it's like level one of the dynamic of it. If they like level one of it, then chances are they're going to want to check out, oh, okay, what's level 2 sound like? And then what's level 3 sound like? What's the kitchen sink version of this? So you want to make sure you're giving them that each step of the way. And so for me, the thing that I was feeling was not quite bigger was the vocal. I feel like the vocal, there could have been doubles and triples around the lead vocal in that second chorus as well. You could have started putting some kind of gang stuff in there too. I wouldn't suggest doing crazy gang stuff, because I feel like that's a little bit out of style now in terms of this like kind of swaggery kind of stuff. But you could easily hear something like going like, hey, 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 like going on in the background kind of rhythmically, just as a texture in the background. Or some other, like, you know, I was hearing a couple of things too that if this was my song, that I would try throwing in there just some little texture kind of things in the background. It's just ear candy stuff, you know, but vocal ear candy. So, and then also gangs behind, perhaps even behind the lead vocal, to just again give it a little bit more thrust. And then I think, you know, after that happens, then you'd see, oh well, maybe there's still a little room to put a little more guitar, or a little more, maybe add some like fuzz to the bass or something like that, to give it a little bit more, or some extra ump to the drums, some extra push to the low end. It's just like, what are the ways that you can get creative about giving them that second level? Because right now it doesn't feel like it really delivers the way that you would really want it to, ideally. Because you know, and I can pull this up again just to show you, but if you take a look, I like to say it's like you really want to see the dynamics in the, can you see my cursor? Oh yeah, you can. Cool. So as you can see in the beginning of the song, it kind of starts off pretty strong, and then it kind of goes down a little bit, and then it comes up and it gets a little beefier here. And that's around the time that I ended up cutting out the song. And it doesn't really get bigger at the end of the song. It looks like the biggest part of the song is like a minute in, from like what at least I'm seeing visually. And usually what people like to see when they're opening up a track is they like to see the build. They like to see, oh, okay, it's starting a little slower, starting a little smaller, then it's going up, or it starts really hot and then it goes down to something that's like, you know, there's like a big shift in the dynamics, where everything drops out, but the vocals and the drums or something like that. You not every song has to follow these rules, though. I will say that. So that's another thing. It's nice to know these rules, but it's also fine to break them. But I do find that, the breaking of the rules that I was doing before I understood them, it didn't make the songs necessarily much better. But that was my experience with that. But Harmony, that's a cool track as always, and thanks for submitting that. It's well on its way. Hey, what's up, Thomas? And hello, Facebook user. I see you there too. Facebook user, I can't see the names of people who are on Facebook for some reason. They have to actually type in, hey, it's so and so most of the time. But welcome to the stream. This is great. Who's up next? Let's see. So that was a track by Harmony. Thomas, I see you're here, so why don't we pull up your track and give it a listen? Yeah. And Cinder, I know you're here too, so if there's a song you want me to spin, just let me know, okay? And same goes for anybody else who's here. This session is for you, and I'm here to give you feedback on your music. So, Thomas Gabors. I'm not sure if I said your name right, but let me pull it open. This looks cool. All right, let's give it a spin. I like the visual of it. You'll see what I'm talking about here in just a second. There we go. And let me mute myself.
Hey, I like what you say. Don't you want to stay? I feel like you're way too much for me. I pray, Lord, please, every day for you to never walk away. For you to never walk away. Hey, I like what you say. Don't you want to stay? I feel like you're way too much for me. I pray, Lord, please, every day for you to never walk away. You treat me just like sunshine. I need more of that lovely light. Sunset's open to the sky. Hey, too much for me. I pray, Lord, need more of the lovely light. Sunset's open to the sky. Stay, don't you want to stay?
Yeah, I like this. It's Thomas, right? Let's see. Yeah, Thomas Gabors. That was really dope. I liked it. I feel that. So a couple things I want to say. First thing, I'm like, this is really dope, and it's unfortunate that more dance music isn't used on TV and ads. You do get some dance stuff that's used in fashion and in some club scenes sometimes for TV shows, but for the most part, it's more pop. And so, but the thing that's great about this is it's a good song. You hear so many electronic songs where it's just like a hook or two over, and then it's mostly a dance song. But this has a song that's good in it, cooked into it. So the thing that's cool about this is that you could take this same song and make a pop version of it. Just make a straight up pop version of this song, and you've got a song that could totally work in some different contexts. Now, who your references would be for that, I think it's just really up to your taste with that. I would look and see what's happening on the Hot 100 and see what's working in pop. I would be going down that list and saying oh, how might I produce this in a style and possibly even entertain? I think if this is you singing, I think you've got a cool voice. The one thing I did want to say about this production, is that I was a little ungrounded just because everything was just kind of floaty in the intro, and it went for quite a long time. And it might have been cool to have that vocal be a little bit more rhythmic to kind of give that section, that intro, just a little bit more of a sense of timing. for me. So it felt a little floaty. It made me also kind of feel like the vocal was a little not like totally out of the pocket, but not locked into like a driving pocket like it is when the drums kick in. Like when the drums kick in, and the vocals like super tight. But I think this song is really cool. You got like really good hooks, and I think that the song is a well-written song. So I think for me, if I had this song and I wanted to make something that had a better chance of landing a license, I would make a pop version of it. And you could maybe even partner with a pop artist and work with them on getting a cool version of this done. If you're not used to releasing anything that under a pop. But, I like the track a lot. Thanks for submitting it. This is cool. Every single time I do this, I get introduced to new and super talented people. There's so many. Who's up next? Let's see. A track I've been working on. Hey, Joey, this is Joe Hogan. I can't actually click on links that are in the chat. It's actually not even possible for me to do in Streamlab. So you have to submit it using the form. So if you don't have the link to submit, you should check your email, because if you're on this call, well, actually, that's not necessarily true. You might, because this is a public call, but if you want to submit a track, all you got to do is just go to the link that's down at the bottom here and go to listening session, and you'll get emailed a link that will take you to the form where you just pop in the link there. But I'm sorry, I can't click it from here. Would it be okay to submit a lo-fi hip hop beat instrumental, or it would be full song with vocals? I mean, that's fine. Yeah. If you want to submit just a work in progress demo, that's cool. We can talk about like what you might like to do with it. But give me a second here. I'm just going to adjust my seat. Oh. Sometimes this desk has a mind of its own. It's like, I don't want to do the button that you just pressed. All right. We're back. Back at the right height here. Okay. Just submitted one. Hope it's not too late. Okay, cool. This must be Michael Johnson. I'm going to play your song right now, actually, because I don't see anybody else who has one in the queue that's here presently. So let's give your song a spin. Okay. Dropbox. All right, cool. All right, I'm sharing. How's everybody's day going? I was going to say, how's the start of everybody's week going? And I looked up and it's Thursday. It's crazy. Just one of those weeks. Moving will do that to a guy. All right. Let's mute myself so I can play this beautiful song. Hey, so yeah, I played that last part over and over again because there was a little artifact that I thought I heard in the mix, and I heard it like 3 times, so I'm pretty sure it's in the mix. But there's like some little clipping noise in there that you might want to check out with a fine tooth comb there because it stood out to me. I think there's a lot that you're doing cool here. I feel like, for trailery kind of stuff, you want to have that kind of 3-act build, which you have here. I feel like the levels of the first 2 sections versus the third was like level 1, level 2, and then level 13 or something like that. So I think maybe the move is to get everything so it's a little more leveled out so that you don't have to wait until the very last part of the song to have something exciting happening. It feels like it's a lot of build up to not a lot at the beginning. I think if you go and you look at like the position music, you look at all the big trailer houses and the libraries that they have up to take a listen to, which is actually pretty cool. You can just go and take a listen to these albums of trailer music that are made by exceptional composers that are, hired time and time and time again and are trusted to do last minute gigs for these big trailers that are coming out. You want to, obviously, if you want to get into this, you want to get into that circle. And the way you do that is by, you kind of have to learn, well, what are the expectations? And part of the expectations, so I'm not a trailer person, so you can take everything I say with this as a grain of salt. But I would say that for me, the quality of some of the samples that are in here and some of the instruments that are in there, they feel a little MIDI to me, versus if you listen to the tracks from those trailer houses that I talk about, it's like you're not hearing that even if they are using a library. So I think that's one thing, is just like continuing to level up with the quality of the instruments that you're using, as well as I think it's an arrangement thing too. I think you're doing a lot right here. Again, I'm seeing when we pulled up the track, you could see it. You could see the 3-act build that's attempting to happen here. But it's just not quite going off these first 2 times in any way. And then it just seems to completely go off. When I say go off, it just seems to like really, the track seems to like properly start around this halfway through. And it'd be nice to see like some more like rhythmic propulsion, some more higher levels, some bigger, more satisfying crescendos a little earlier in the track. Again, you always have to take what I say about trailer stuff with a grain of salt. I've started working. Oh, cool. Let's check this out. Good advice. I've started talking to composer Michael Maz and starting to get some good guidance and advice from him. That's awesome. I don't know who that is, but I think anytime you can get mentorship from somebody who's been there and done that, I think that's huge. So, but just keep going with it. Like, that's the thing. It's like, this is great, and just keep pushing it, keep working on it. But again, there's a lot that I liked here. I liked also, it wasn't too, I think it's better when you're making this kind of music to err on the side of a slower build versus like too fast of a build. And I think you did that right here too, in my personal opinion. And then the other thing I wanted to say, there was one little pulsating, rhythmic, synthy kind of sounding thing. And I can't remember if it might've been during the second build, but it felt like it kind of got out of the pocket a little bit. So that was one point that I wrote down that I wanted to make too. But yeah. Okay, so you tried again. All right, great, Joe. So Joe has tried again to submit the track, and let me just pull that up for you then. But thank you so much. Really appreciate you submitting the track, Michael. And it's great. It's always a pleasure to listen to your music. So thanks for stopping by and checking out. And the thing that's cool too is we learn so much just by, even if your track isn't spun, it's just, we all learn together. That's the whole point with this. I learn so much every single time I do one of these. Okay, so we got tracks by Cinder and we have tracks by Joe, so we got 2 more. Probably got time for at least a couple more. So it's not too late, I'm going to leave the link up down at the bottom if anybody wants to have some feedback on their music. It's not too late. All right, but we're going to start with Joe, and then we're going to move to Cinder. Here we go, Joe.
Yeah. Wearing this together. I've been keeping up with all you do. And I think myself that I even know you. You're a queen among all these pills. You got this, you got this good. Good today. You got this good. I watch you thinking so hard. You knock me right out of the heart that I just want you to go. There ain't no looking back, no looking back. Oh, just today. Got me feeling we gotta let it go and do some healing. Sparkle like a diamond, you be gleaming. I wanna be right there beside you when you win the game. Puppy knuckle that you are.
Hey, Joe, way to hit him with a positive message here. I think it's good to have this kind of music out in the world. So for me, in terms of licensing, my thoughts on this are, I've got a few thoughts. So there's like almost like a tribal kind of, it kind of reminds me almost of like the kind of music that you hear out of the Venice beach with like a drum circle or something like that. But it feels a little too copy pasty, it's got a little bit of a lack of focus with the vocal too, because it almost sounds, I think there might be multiple singers here happening. I can't tell. The singers kind of sound different, but this might be the same vocalist doing different takes or something like that. It's a little confusing to me who's the lead vocalist here. And part of it has to do, I think there's like some stereo stuff that's happening. And it's also part to do with the mix, the way this is mixed. It's not really featuring the vocal at all. So I think just getting a better mix will help with that perhaps. And then I think just for me, my taste as a producer, I feel like some of the production is a little rough on the edges. I feel like, especially with the transitions, there's parts where there should be a transition and it just kind of drops out, or something just kind of, it's like we're in a new section of the song and there hasn't been any. I always like to say it's like it's like pulling back on the string on a bow. It's like you really want to kind of pull that tension, and then when you release, it feels like it flies, so, or it's like, yeah, it's also like if you want to feed a baby, it's like you want to let the listener know, it's like, here it comes, like, you gotta let them know that there's something exciting that's about to happen. And at no point in the song do I feel like there's any like kind of anticipation, any kind of build up. And so it all kind of feels like it's happy and it's like a positive message, but it all kind of stays at the same level for me. So I think that's mostly my feedback with this in terms of the production, in terms of the arrangement. I think in terms of the theme, you've done good today. That's cool, right? I wasn't paying incredibly close attention to the lyrics. It's hard to pay attention to everything with a fine tooth comb on the first listen, but some of the lyrics felt a little like on the nose for me. Some of the lyrics that I did hear, but I think You Done Good Today is a good title. I think it's a cool title. I think it could work for licensing, but I think it could also work for an artist track as well. So that's my thoughts. I think it's a positive message. I think it's got some good energy with it, but it does need some polishing up when it comes to the production, especially with the vocal stuff, focusing that vocal, and then also on an arrangement level, just getting some different levels to the song and getting some transitions tightened up. And well, actually, there really aren't many transitions in there that I couldn't hear any transitional elements. So adding transitional elements in there that will help give the listener a sense of anticipation for the big moments that are in the song. So that's my thoughts, Joe. Thanks for submitting it. It's always so fun. Oh, wow. We got 3 tracks in there. Okay. So I'm probably going to be closing up yeah, we're not going to have any time for more songs. Thanks for everybody who submitted songs. I'm going to take the ticker off, and hopefully more people don't put more music in at this point. But yeah, I have the batteries to listen to 4 more songs for sure. So we're going to do that. This is fun. I was going to answer some questions. We do have we have like a larger public group that's called Sync It. And we have a Ask Me Anything thread in there that people can ask questions, and I was gonna hop in there and see what was happening, but we've got so many people who want feedback on their music. It's like I'd kind of rather prioritize that. All right. Here we go. Cinder, All the Good Things. Let's check it out. This is a demo. Songwriting feedback, please, and production ideas. You got it. Okay, let me share the screen. Got to do that first. Now you can see it, and now after I mute myself, you'll be able to hear it.
All the good things that I know, all the good things that I see. Oh, 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 they're for me. When I look the other way, all the good things turn away, and I know, oh, 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 that's not me. Tiny voices in my head, telling me that I can't move, like a deer in the headlights, yo. I'm always staring at the glow. Now I know there's a way to play a new game. I can choose to make a move and start fresh today. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the good things that I know, all the good things that I see. Oh, oh, but I should just give up and go back to the chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the good things that I know, all the good things that I see. Oh, 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 they're for me.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, it takes me a second there to unmute myself, but thanks for submitting this, Cinder. Nice start to something here. I think it's cool. There's some cool hooks in there. I was thinking that they're from me. All the good things that I know, all the good things that I see. They're from me. You could make that. I don't think you were doing anything crazy with the O's, but you could make that a little more hooky. I think that you could do something like they're for me. But that's just what I would do if I was writing it. If that's your chorus, you got to remember you want to make your chorus like as hooky as possible. So if you're going to spend a lot of time on tweaking something, make sure that your chorus is just super hooky, and making sure there's a good amount of repetition in there is usually a good thing too, right? And then all the good things that I know, all that I see, they're for me. They're for me. I can choose to make a move, start fresh. Yeah, so it's like you're just accepting the good in life, is what it sounds like. I'm accepting the good in life. Tiny voices in my head telling me I can't move like a deer in the headlights. Now I know there's always a way to play a new game. I think like if there's the before and after, it's like it'd be nice to talk for a second about like what changed, you know? I think that's the thing in the lyrics that's kind of throwing me off a little bit, is that it kind of jumps from the sad stuff to like, now it's all good, you know? I'd like to know what changed about that. What, story-wise, that's what interests me here. So, that's a thought, those are the only thoughts I have. Honestly, it feels like it's a pretty, new song, and you're figuring it out. And, yeah, looking forward to hearing the new song when you're finished with it. But those are my 2 cents, is like, just, make sure you make those, that chorus hook as strong as it can be. And then, just story-wise, I would probably try to fill in that blank that I was kind of seeing in the story that was being told to me. Oh, and it's such a pleasure, Joe. I appreciate you. Thanks for hopping in. What is this? I get some scammer on here too. I mean, I knew it was just a matter of time before I start getting some spam posts in here. And you got some love here from Jackie, sending you some love. Can't wait to hear the finished song. Yes, can't wait to hear it. All right. So who's up next? Let's see. We've got in the queue. Next up is Jackie. You're up. And Glenn, can you let me know if you're here? I'm not sure if you're here in the audience, but I'd love to spin your track if you're here. Jackie Nicholson, this track is called Paper Hearts, and I'm going to listen to it right now. Here we go. Hang on a sec. Let me just share the screen. Still getting the rhythm of all this on Streamlabs.
Paper hearts don't really beat, so if they break, you shouldn't feel a thing. Not a thing. Cotton candy promises look so beautiful and taste so sweet, so easy to believe. If my heart was made of paper, if your promises stay true, maybe we could be paper. If you
Yeah, I always like a vulnerable vocal. That's nice. I like it. So I feel that this is an interesting juxtaposition. You've got this vulnerable upfront vocal, and then these brash, kind of trashy drums kind of come in, and then there's like this 80s kind of airy pad that's kind of swirling around, and it feels like that for like, I mean, even through the first chorus is all there is to it. And so it feels a little like there's some stuff missing, you know, it feels like build wise, it should have more things going on for those drums to come in the way that they do. It was actually hinting at me that there was going to be some big, exciting stuff happening. And then it wasn't until later on in the song that a couple other elements hopped in, but I'd never felt like this song really kind of took off in a way. So that's what I would be looking for is how do you get some, you know, first off, like asking somebody to do 30 seconds with just a vocal and like an airy pad is like a pretty big ask these days. I'll say that. So if you're going to do that, it's like the way I like to say it is for modern audiences, a lot of the times, if you can switch things up in some kind of way, every 4 bars in any kind of pop song, it's like add some type of instrument, add some kind of interest, change up the rhythm to the way you're singing a little bit, just give some kind of refreshment every 4 bars, and then maybe every 8 bars have like something big and exciting happening. Or you could do like that every 8 bars and then every 16 bars. But it's like the longer you make people wait to get a payoff, it's really, some people, they have a listening attention span of about 5 or 6 seconds before they decide if they're going to listen any further. So I would say those first few seconds, you really got to hook people in and give them something compelling. So I think the first few seconds of this, I really like that delicateness with the vocal, the vulnerability and the upfront presence with it. I just think that this combo is a little, just as an ensemble, I feel like it's missing some pieces, and what those pieces are, it's really up to your imagination. But and I'm not sure what your references were for this, so it's hard to say like, oh, okay, if this was your reference, you might want to try some extra guitar layers or some synth layers, or, you know, what have you. So that's my thoughts on it. But yeah, I mean, it could be a piano ballad too. It's definitely got a piano. It's like almost like piano ballad minus the piano, and plus like these kind of kind of like interesting. I like the sound of the drums. It's a very stark juxtaposition, which can be cool. So, but that's my thoughts. It needs for me, it needs like some more stuff happening with it, but great start to things. Okay. Again, it's always just my opinion, right? I'm not, just because I say something doesn't mean it's like the, it's not the end all. And if you're making music, pitch it. That's the best way to find out if there's a market for what you're doing, is get out there and pitch your music. And then if you send out your music to 5 different people and you don't get any response, that's something. But I wouldn't give up until you send out your music to a bunch more people than that. But if you send your music out to 20 people and nobody responds, then it could have something to do with your songwriting, could have something to do with your production, could have something to do with your mix, or it could have something to do with the whole like brand package with it and the approach. The email approach sometimes is off. So sometimes the music is a part of it. Sometimes it's not always the music. Sometimes it's just the way you're approaching people. All right, Glenn, let's play your track next. And then Joan, I'm going to give your lo-fi beat a quick listen as well. Glenn, it was so good to see you when you were here in Nashville, and the bottles of mead that you gave me were delicious. Glenn Lavender, he runs a meadery, which is wine that's made from honey, basically. It's so good. It was really good. Looking forward to the next time you're in town. Let's definitely go hit some meadery up again. All right, so this is, what is this track? It's First Master. Okay, cool. So it's pretty close to being finished. All right. Thanks for the plug. It's my pleasure. All right, so let me get this queued up. Here we go. Glenn Lavender. Okay, I think I got it. Let me just mute myself.
Je te dérange qu'avec mon existence, tu donnes cet air de quelqu'un qui montre sa puissance. Quand t'es tout seul, tu n'auras que tes yeux pour pleurer. C'est poétique, ta vie devient tragique, mais je m'en fiche. Je m'en fiche. Je te lâche, toi l'égoïste. Peut-être pour toi c'est un peu triste, mais je n'ai jamais été conformiste. Je m'en fiche. Oui, 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 oui. Je m'en fiche, 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 fiche. Peut-être pour toi c'est un peu triste, mais je n'ai jamais été conformiste. Je m'en fiche.
Hey, Glenn, this is great. Honestly, this is one of the best things I've ever heard that you've submitted. This is really excellently produced. I like the writing on it. I mean, I don't speak a lick of French, but I think the writing's good. I read the lyrics. I like the lyrics. And I feel that the groove is really solid with this. I feel like the little subtle, the mouth popping sound. I don't know even how the hell you do that. Is that you? Like, I don't even know what that is. That's crazy. That's like some crazy mouth gymnastics right there. But yeah, I don't know what that is, but I think it's dope. I think that the vocal, it's really well mixed too. I think the mix is really tight on this. And I think that you see all these random ass briefs that come up from time to time where they're looking for French music that doesn't necessarily have to have like, the meaning isn't necessarily important, but they want something that's distinctly French, and this feels like it checks off that distinctly French box. I mean, I don't know if this is distinctly French music, but it feels like it should be French music, right? And the vocalist you have no doubt that this vocalist is a French singer. So it feels very authentic to me. And I think that, this would be great for agencies to have on hand and for music supervisors to be aware of, that there's this quality of music happening. Slapping my cheeks. Cool. Nice. Yeah, it was some very cool extra little bells and whistles on this, and I love me some jazzy music. So that was great. That was great. And I think that there is a place in licensing for this for sure. So especially if you had a little EP or even an album of this stuff, I think people would want to have it. They would want to have this in their inbox, if you neatly sent it to them with French music in the subject line of your email. A lot of times supervisors will check their email, and I don't think there's going to be too many people who pop up for this kind of music. So might put you in a place of advantage, which is good. That's the beautiful thing about niches, is that, you might not have a ton of opportunities, but when you do have those opportunities, you're going to be on a short list. Oh, sick. Yeah. I mean, if you keep the quality this high, it's going to be a slam dunk to me. Like, I think that you're definitely going to get snap signed with this. It's a cool project. And I'm impressed with the production on this as well. All right, so we're going to close things out with Joan. Wow, time flies. I always have so much fun doing this, and I'm glad. Sorry again, I couldn't do it last week. Moving was just too much. I'm in my new space. It's still pretty new to me, but I definitely didn't want to leave you hanging 2 weeks in a row. So glad that we could do this tonight. Let me pop this track open. This is a lo-fi beat, I believe you told me, Joan. And lo-fi beat in the frequency of 432. Okay. Interesting. What's it with 432? I don't know about 432. Is that some kind of yoga thing, or is that some kind of new age thing where it's like 432 is the new, tone that's going to bring you peace and joy and prosperity into your life? I don't say that in like any kind of like a, I'm slightly joking, but I'm like, I'm curious about that kind of stuff. So let me know. Let me know what 432 is about. Oh, usually songs are in 440. This is in 432, frequency of the universe. Okay, so there's some science that's happening here. Let's see if I can hear the difference. Yeah, I think that's cool. I would probably get to like a second gear with it at some point quicker. I don't feel like the second gear is there yet. Feels like it wants to have like some second gear that has like a little more low end presence and feels like the chorus of it. But it kind of feels like, to me, arrangement wise, this feels like it kind of meanders. I'm not sure exactly where it's going. Artificing, no, I'm not hearing any artificing here. I'm hearing the typical, with a lo-fi track, I'm hearing the typical, it's the record, the vinyl sound, the analog sound is usually what's going on in the background, and I'm hearing it here. I don't hear any artificing here. It sounded like artifacts in the last one, but not this one. So like I was saying, I mean, I might play around with a different, background scratch or whatever on that first one. But yeah, I think this is a cool start to something. I feel like I was saying before, I'd like to hear it kind of build into something a little bit more. It feels like it just kind of sputters out a little bit. It adds a couple of things, and then it just kind of stays the same for a long time, it seems like to me, just energy wise. So, and I didn't really notice the difference with the 432. That's pretty cool. Do you just set that up in your DAW or something like that? seems to be a pain to work with in your DAW. Why is that? Is it just because all the plugins, do plugins not work with it or something like that? Or is it something you have to enable in like Pro Tools every time? Or I'm just curious. All right, we're gonna be wrapping this thing up in just a second. I want to wait for a second to see if I can get an answer on the on why it's a pain to work with 432 because I'm just curious. You do it in Logic Pro X, like the setting. You just change the setting or something like that. Okay, all right. Well, cool. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I do this every week. It's on Thursday nights. I may actually be changing it up at some point in the next couple of weeks because I'm feeling like there might be a better time during the week for me to do this where more people might be able to attend. And I also have some ideas of things that I want to do for Twitch and for YouTube that are a little bit different than just the listening session. So I may be doing two sessions, but I don't know. But either ways, I will let everybody know. Thank you for tuning in. Otherwise, I'm planning to be here on Thursday nights at 6 o'clock Central Time, which is 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 7 p.m. Eastern Coast Time. And I think I covered everywhere in the US, but and also around the world. You can check the replays. Thanks for tuning in on replay, if you're checking it out on replay. And if you want to find out anything about what Sonnet and I do with 2Indie, including you can order these hats now, you can go to 2indie.com. Pre-orders live now for these hats, and they're coming in, I think, next week. I think is when they're actually dropping in, and we're going to start mailing them out. So we're very excited about the new merch. And happy holidays, everybody. And thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time. It's been a pleasure to listen to your music. Thank you for sharing your talents with me. All right. See you next time.